Hi everybody, how's everybody doing out there? Hope you're well. Listen, I always get asked questions every time I put out a new album, and it's interesting some of the questions come back. So today I figured I'd take the time to answer some of those questions, and we're going to call this 20 questions from you to me, or 20 questions from you. We'll figure it out as we go, but here we go. Here's question number one. I like to be creative, and releasing original music is very therapeutic for me, and it was long overdue, that's for sure. On the latest release, all the songs are almost fairly brand new. I've had some riffs laying around for a little while, and but they're all original new compositions that have never been heard by anyone before. I started writing original music in the very first bands that I was in that played live in the bars. I figured I'm playing songs by people that I want to aspire to be, but I'm not going to get there playing their songs, so I had to be an original artist and start writing music. And it helped some of the people in one of the bands I was in that actually highly motivated and pushed me to keep writing. A lot of my lyrics are from inspirations in my daily life, things I see around the world, things I see friends go through. I might take a little bit of this from that person's fiasco and some of my own, and then I try to come up with something that people can relate to that they've been through or experienced in their life. The shortest it ever took me to write a song was within, 20 minutes. But writing and recording it are two different things. Um, and maybe the longest, there's songs that I started writing years and years ago that are just riffs that I would eventually develop into songs. So they vary in length. Some 20 minutes to not done yet. Years. I don't know if I have a favorite song that I wrote or even favorite subject matter, because every time you create something new, I'm sure you hear a lot of bands say that this is our best album yet. Well, it's best to maybe them, but it might not be to the average fan or listener. So I don't really have a favorite song. There's some that I like more than other that when I listen back I cringe and like, oh, why did I sing it like that? Or I'm out of key, or I'm not playing right, or you're your own worst critic, that's for sure. At least you should be. There was a time when I used to write lyrics first, but that was a long time ago. And sometimes I'll get ideas and write down phrases or a few lines. But now it's mainly I write the music and write the lyrics around that, because obviously it's more structured. And anything that I might have written lyrics on without music, I would have to chop up sometimes to fit into songs, or they get too wordy. And I want to make it a little easier for people to relate to it and get right to the point. I don't know if it's just changed direction of the song. It might have changed the meaning. Obviously, like if I had lyrics that I had started, and I was like, you know what, those don't really fit, so I'm going to now use these lyrics and make it fit for the feel of the music. I haven't had any formal training, never took guitar lessons, never took vocal lessons. There was a time when I was a little kid that my sister used to play the piano and she would sing, and I'd be singing octaves. So she taught me stuff like that. But she wasn't a teacher, but she did teach me. And my brother played guitar, so I would hear him playing guitar, and so there were inspirations around me, but no training of any kind ever. Mainly by ear, and that's really it. I played everything on the latest release. I've used other people in the past, and I was in the middle of working on something, but it was just taking too long. I'm a very motivated individual, and when I get into the studio, I just want to get in there and let whatever comes out come out and see what it sounds like in the end. I don't try to overanalyze everything too much because you could just beat yourself up forever thinking that you might have it perfect and you might have already had it better. And you change something just for the sake of changing it, doesn't always make it better. So yeah, like I said, I did this whole thing by myself on Unscathed, but I have in the past used other people. It's just easier doing it by myself and faster. I do have a couple albums, well, one completed one that was actually going under the Flower City Thorns name, but the COVID hit and it kind of just went to the wayside. It's done though. I think it's actually really good, but of course, like I said before, this is the best thing I've ever done. Well, I don't know if it's the best, but I like it. It has a little different textures and feels. And there are other songs that I have never released, and someday I might put them out. We'll see. Time will tell. My favorite song off the latest release, Unscathed. I don't really know. It's hard to say. I do really like cover band Rockstar because if you listen to that, kind of sums up how I feel about being in a cover band. It's not a bad thing. It's just that I need to be creative and I get more satisfaction out of a response from people that listen to my original music than playing someone else's song. Someone else's song that they worked really hard on to get to that point to where everybody knows it. Kind of feel like I'm riding on their coattails. The guitar I use kind of depends on the music or the style of the song, but I try to stick with one or two for the whole recording just for the fact that I want the continuity of sound from song to song. If I need to clean it up, I just turn the volume back a little bit, or I use a little different amp setting. But overall, I try to keep it, the same color or same texture throughout the record or release, I should say, because there's no actual record. But yeah, I don't really get too particular about that. I just go for it. And on this last release, it was all about just full frontal rock and roll. I wasn't too worried about clean stuff, as you'll hear if you listen to it. I have in the past written with other people. That was kind of how the Flower City Thorns project was going. Used some lyrics, or part of lyrics that were written by, the drummer, Joe. And a long time ago, I wrote with other people. But really, it's just myself. And the only reason is just because, like I said before, I want to get it done. I don't want to agonize over it. Just want to see what comes out. Mix it up and throw it out there. Kind of like throwing some paint at a wall. Let's see what it looks like. The length all depends on if I have other people involved or if I'm doing it myself. Unscathed took me really about 2 weeks. I challenged myself to get done in 2 weeks. I had a couple little hiccups, so it was about 2.5 weeks. But I tried to go in the studio every day with a guitar or riff idea and not leave till the end of the day, until I had a complete song with lyrics, all the performances done. Wasn't mixed, but it was all recorded, the basic parts that you need for the song. But yeah, so some took 6 hours, some took 12 to 14 hours. Those were long days, but when I set my mind to it, like I said, I want to get in there and just stick my nose to the grindstone and go for it. The only advice I can give someone that wants to be a solo artist is just to be true to yourself. Always play what makes you feel honest and genuine, and that will convey to other people. Releasing it's a hard thing. There's 900 million people around the world that can put out their own music now. As you see, I'm sitting in my home studio. And for the life of me, I don't understand why the people are in bands, that are musicians, don't do what I do. I mean, I learned from day one going in the studio. Every time I went in with my very first band, I soaked in every bit of thing about the recording process as I could, because it was all part of the creative process of writing and recording and releasing music. And I wanted to be, efficient at all those things. I might not be great, but I at least try and get the job done, and it's an honest effort. The most important lesson I learned, let's see, well, maybe I'll save that one for the book if I ever write one, but it's just, you gotta trust yourself and don't let other people say they're gonna do stuff for you, because they're either in it for themselves or they're just not gonna come through. It happens all the time. You hear XYZ, we'll do XYZ. Yeah, I really like it. Let's do something, and you never hear from them again. So just be efficient and give it your all and trust in your instinct. Yeah, that sounds good. I decided that a long time ago that music was going to be my main thing. It was tough at times because being away from family, moving to another city to pursue your dreams, you miss out on things. You also miss out on, maybe relationship issues, or, if you have a family, that's even harder. I mean, I always made sure that I could get up and go whenever I really needed to, if an opportunity arose. So, yeah, that's tough. I don't think of any of it as being a job. It's very rewarding. When I was actually selling physical CDs, which I still sell, but when they were more of a product that people bought, when I'd see some kid over in Europe or someone in Europe went into some little shop and bought my CD, and sent me a message about it, that was rewarding. That's all you really need. Something that you made, something that you created, someone spent their money on it, and that's an accomplishment right there. As an original musician, that's a feather in the cap. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, every release is exciting because when you first start out, you just have a guitar riff and you never know what it's going to sound like when the thing's done and out the door for people to listen to. And at some point, you have to say, okay, enough. I've mixed this thing enough times. I have to be happy with the way it is. That's the best I can get it. But yeah, it's exciting, every single one. The response to the records, albums, CDs, digital streams. It's exciting, and that's rewarding. Hi, thank you for watching until the end. Please go listen to Unscathed and all my other releases on all of the main major digital downloading and streaming platforms around the world. And listen to it like a million times so I can make like $5. That would be awesome. And maybe we'll do this again. Who knows? In the meantime, thank you, and we'll see you around. Bye.